Indiana State Sycamores are with us now. Greg Lansing's the head coach. Jordan Barnes and Brandon Murphy are the student athletes. We're going to ask Greg to start off with a statement on the game, and then we'll go to questions for just the two student athletes for a while and finish up with Coach. Greg, please.
First, just want to congratulate Illinois State and Dan. I know they battled through some different things this year, just like everybody did, but their three guys tonight were terrific. They were ready to go. I know we have a lot of respect for them, and we were ready to go as well. I don't think we played particularly well, but anytime the shots don't go in, you kind of feel like that. But I also, the game was a little bit a microcosm of this season, just the inconsistencies and some of the things we're trying to do defensively to take things away. And Yarbrough's a ton. I mean, he's a difficult guard. We got to do it and try to follow the game plan as best we can. And then on the offensive end, you only have 7 turnovers and still score 70 points when you shoot so poorly. So everything looks ugly when the shots aren't going in. But I commend especially these two guys up here for their competitive nature, how hard they've played, how they've stuck with it. Came through last week the way we did. We always stuck together. The guys always stuck together. They pulled for each other. They fought together. We got better in practice even throughout the year. And I love what we have coming back, starting with the guy to my left who should have been a first-teamer. I want to thank our seniors, and it's just a disappointing way to go out.
Questions for Jordan and or Brandon?
This can go with both Jordan and Brandon. It just seemed like the boulder was getting pushed uphill all night, and you guys couldn't quite get it over the top. How frustrating was it to have to go through that? You were able to come back several times, but, just illustrate your frustration and having to continue to have to come back and wipe out deficits.
Jordan, you're first, and Brandon, please.
It's tough not seeing shots go in the basket. But we got to find other ways to get it done on the other end, on the defensive end. So it's most definitely tough, but I feel for these seniors.
Yeah, just piggybacking off JB, it was real tough, especially seeing Brent Scott not hitting any shots. So I just commend Illinois State for doing what they did. I mean, they came out, they was ready, and I know we were ready too, but the shots just wasn't falling. And like you said, when the shots are not falling, it kind of dictates on defense a little bit. But I think we didn't play too bad on defense. Just our offense wasn't really clicking in the beginning.
Jordan, seemed like at many points in the game tonight, you guys could have taken control of the game. Illinois State kind of gave you guys some opportunity. Can you kind of talk about how this is a learning experience in a tournament setting? You can take this and move forward into next year?
We can always learn from this. There were times where we couldn't get over the hump, and we just needed that one defensive stop or that one bucket on the offensive end. But that all comes down to leadership. So, I got to do a better job of that, and I can carry it on to next year.
Again, for both Jordan and Brandon, from a teammate perspective, to watch Brenton go through what he went through tonight, you don't expect anybody to go 0 for 14. How did that feel from a teammate perspective to watch him struggle? What were you guys going through trying to get him going?
Brandon, you're first this time.
But we were just trying to keep him going because we knew that eventually a shot was going to fall. And so I told him to just drive to the hole and dump it down because when they were in the zone, they were helping up so high. So I told him to just start driving to the hole to get some points easily. You may get fouled or you may not. I know he was in the beginning. He was forcing a lot of shots, so that's when me and JB told him to drive it to the hole.
Well, I feel for B. Scott. He puts in a lot of work in the gym, and it's tough seeing him go through what he went through tonight because just how much work he puts in, how many shots he gets up a day. So it's kind of tough for him.
Yeah, stay here. Thanks.
This one's just for you, Brandon. Can you kind of illustrate what you're going through right now, with this being your last game and what emotions you're going through?
Truth be told, I'm just kind of lost right now because they really didn't have this in my plans to lose. I was planning on playing all the way to Sunday. I even told my family at home, we're going to win it. I had that much confidence, I just don't know. play hard. We just couldn't come up with the win. I mean, I hope everybody take this as a learning experience and move on to the next year, because I know the guys are tired of coming in the locker room and crying and doing the things that we've been doing for the past 3-4 years. So hopefully that the younger guys are taking this up and they're going to move on to next year and win it.
Anything else for the student athletes of Indiana State? Okay, gentlemen, thank you very much. You are excused. We'll stay here with Coach Lansing a while longer. First question's right here in front. Again, thank you.
Greg, similar question to that I asked the players. As a coach, when Brenton is struggling as badly as he is, what goes through your mind, both from an emotional perspective, watching a senior struggle, but also from a strategic perspective, because it's hard to tell him not to shoot. You can't. Obviously, you compromise your own offense if he's not in the game. What were you going through as a coach watching that?
Throughout Brenton's career, I mean, he's been guilty of taking a bad shot or forcing some here and there. I really think he had a lot of good shots tonight. Maybe a couple could have been a little better, but I'm just thinking the next one's going to go. The next one's going to go. The next one's going to go. We kept, even to the last one to tie it, I thought that was going to go drop right in the middle. It just really frustrating. And like JB said, and he works every day. I mean, he'll be in the gym tomorrow morning shooting. That's the type of the guy this kid is. So people don't know that. They can at times get frustrated with some of the shots that he takes or some of the way he plays. But he works like crazy on his game and on his craft. And like I told him, there's been nobody I've bumped more heads with many more times than Brenton Scott. But I'm proud of the person he's become. I'm proud of the leadership that he's done, and just how good a teammate he became, because that wasn't always the case. And this was a tough one for him, and he's going to beat himself up for it. But he left his mark. He left his mark, and I commend him for it.
Coach, kind of the same thing I asked Jordan. How frustrating is it when it seemed like Illinois State kind of gave you a chance to kind of grab hold of the game and you just weren't able to do it?
Yeah, you got to make your own breaks, though, too. Those guys are too good, especially those three that hurt us. And Malik's such a tough matchup. I mean, I wish he was a senior. So good with the ball, making the right plays, and getting Keyshawn in there. Keyshawn making some threes for him tonight. Fane just doing what he does. I mean, there's no better threesome probably in the league. And we made our mistakes, but you do that against a really talented team too. And I think, we shoot 34% for the game and they shoot right at 50. Your defense is a little better and a couple shots go in. It could have easily gone the other way, but commend those guys.
Greg, Malik only plays 6 minutes in the first half, and you guys were able to get the lead there a little bit at the end, but then they kind of came back. In the big picture, how important was that in the game, not being able to get a lead with him on the bench for them?
Yeah. I mean, you always have to do that. We had guys in foul trouble with Kedar and Brent and stuff. Guys were in and out. They did too. That's why I hate the rule like that. The officials have a tough job, but you want your best players on the floor and playing and seeing who's the best team and doing that thing. So we had some difficult lineups in there ourselves a lot of times, but. He just, when he gets it going, and we don't have a guy like some of these other teams in the league do with it. That's a really good matchup. We got to try and switch it up what we're doing. But he is so good. Malik does it to the best defenders in the league too. It's not just that. And when you put Keyshawn out there making shots and running the show and being a leader and Fane around the basket, they're difficult to defend.
Kind of along the same lines, Greg. I mean, even when, Malik obviously had some unfavorable matchups, especially when Kedar was in foul trouble. But is he equally dangerous feeding the ball out of, when the double team comes? He was able to get Njai a couple times there in the second half. I mean, he's a dangerous scorer, but, as a distributor, how dangerous is he as well?
He's not a good passer. He's a great passer. I mean, he will pick you apart. He will kill you. And the thing that I commend him on is he makes the right play. He's not going to force up a bad shot when the right play is to give it up, a LeBron James type thing. People say you need to take this shot or you need to do that. Malik makes the right play virtually all the time.
Stay. Yes.
When you look at this team going forward, and I know it's pretty quickly after this one, but what are you looking at as that you're hopeful about, and what do you feel needs to be addressed a little bit?
Well, you don't want to talk in front of a senior group like the word, but I'm tired of the losing. That's not what this program's about. Just winning to stay out of the play-in game. That's not what I want. I got to do better. I really like what we have coming back, what we have sitting there at home with Christian and Cooper, and what we have coming in with the recruiting class. Have to add another piece or two here and there, because I think there's 3 teams in the league that have, including those guys, that have basically everybody coming back. So it's not going to be easy, but we need to get back where we belong, and that's contending for championships of the regular season and for trying to get to Sunday to win a tournament championship.
Coach, Illinois State going into semifinal for the 3rd time in 4 years. When observing them as a team, as a unit, what are some of the things you hope your players can take away from how they operate that you hope they can apply moving forward to put themselves in a position to maybe get to this further down Arch Madness?
Well, we've been there in our past too, and I think our guys, smart guys, learn from all the good teams. Learn from Loyola, a champion in the regular season, and how they go about things and how they compete and play unselfishly and play together. It was a crime that these guys weren't in the NCAA tournament last year. I can't imagine dealing with that. And still got a good group of those guys. Kind of, they lost plenty, but then you add Malik. That's a pretty good addition to it. So I think our guys need to learn from all the teams that are contending, and we'll watch and see who is playing on Sunday. You wish you were there, but what I told them after we have to get to contending for a championship starting in the spring. I mean, this off season needs to be one that can propel us to contending for a championship.
Thank you, Greg.
Thank you.
Best of luck.